Toward the beginning of last year, news broke that Eminem had once again been a victim of home invasion, only this time it wasn't just a simple robbery. When Eminem woke up to find an intruder in his home, the man confessed to M that he was there to kill him. Luckily for us, nothing ended up happening and the man was ultimately arrested. As of September of this year, the man involved in the break-in finally got to see his day in court, and we couldn't wait to find out what would end up becoming of the whole situation. Be sure to watch until the end of the video to find out what the courts decided to do with the man who attempted to kill Eminem. Someone tried to kill Eminem.
Mr. Mathers asked him why he was there. He was told by Mr. Hughes that he was going to kill him.
Alright, so even though Eminem is practically a god in the hip-hop community, he is still a human and he has to sleep like the rest of us. And if you have heard any other artist talk about the way M treats his music like it's an actual job, he treats his schedule like a 9 to 5, meaning that when he steps into the studio, it's all work for 8 hours. Then he hits the off switch and goes back to just being a normal dude. That being said, it would make sense to find out that at 4 in the morning, Eminem, much like a lot of other people, is usually asleep. As was the case on April 5th of 2020, he had spent the day before doing whatever it is that M does, and then found himself going to bed. However, at 4 a.m., he would be woken up to find out that there was an intruder in his home. As we said, it was around 4 in the morning when a 28-year-old man by the name of Matthew David Hughes broke into Eminem's house. He did so, but approaching a window that would be the most discreet, and then he smashed it with a paving brick.
Someone broke into Eminem's home in the Manchester Estates gated community in Clinton Township. Police say 26-year-old Matthew David Hughes got inside the house after he threw a paving stone in the back kitchen window and crawled through the shattered opening.
He then proceeded to climb through the window and then made his way through M's house before finally stumbling into his room. As he made his way inside, he noticed the rapper passed out. Now, lucky for Eminem, he has one of those security systems that immediately notify the authorities when it's tripped, and when Hughes smashed the window to get into the home, he set off the silent alarm. This notified the security company and authorities were on their way. However, while he was still in the house, Hughes made his way over to M, and it's assumed that if he hadn't woken up, things might have ended very poorly for Eminem. Eminem must have heard him approaching, or just felt like something was off because as Matthew stood over him, he woke up. He wasn't concerned at first because according to sources, Eminem thought of it as just one of his nephews standing behind him. However, he soon realized that it was not one of his nephews and was in fact an intruder. M must have kept his cool somehow because he managed to look at Matt and ask him, "What are you doing here?" What Matthew said in reply would be enough to throw most people into fight or flight mode. Lucky for him though, the police were on the way and nothing ended up happening because when he was asked what he was doing there, Matthew claimed that he was not there to rob Eminem, but to kill him. It's a good thing for M and those close to him that the authorities managed to apprehend Matthew before things got out of hand, and everything ended in a rather safe way. Charges against Hughes. Following his arrest, Hughes ended up getting hit with multiple charges, one of which was a charge for first-degree home invasion, and the other ended up being for the broken window, of which he was charged with malicious destruction of a building, the latter of which was actually caught on camera, so there is no way out of that. Not that there would have been a way out in the first place, seeing how he got caught in the act. Either way, while awaiting his trial, I'm sure Hughes was worried about what might happen to him. With the two things he was being charged with, there was a chance that he could have been facing almost 25 years in prison if he was hit with the hardest sentencing. You see, Michigan isn't a state to mess around with when it comes to felony charges, especially if you're an adult. For his first charge, which was the first-degree home invasion, he could have been looking at up to 20 years for just that alone. But for Hughes, he was also looking at a second felony for when he smashed the window, which could have potentially added 5 years to his first sentence. While awaiting his trial, he more than likely had a lot to think about. And he had a lot of time to do it too. As we mentioned, the break-in happened in 2020, and Hughes had been in jail awaiting his trial for more than 500 days before his time in court finally came. And the world couldn't wait to find out what was going to happen to the man who allegedly tried to kill Eminem. Hughes is released on probation. After sitting in county jail for 524 days, awaiting his trial, Matthew Hughes finally got to find out what would end up happening to him after allegedly attempting to kill Eminem. He found himself before Macomb County Court, where he got to make his case as well as his plea. Hughes ended up pleading no contest to the charges, which isn't necessarily him saying that he is guilty, just that he isn't going to fight the case. Eminem wasn't present at the hearing. However, his lawyer did attend via video conference where he was able to watch the case and see the outcome. At the end of the day, the Macomb County Circuit Judge assigned to the case decided to work with Hughes' no contest plea, and ended up granting him his release. He was placed on 5-year probation with time served. As we said, Eminem was not present at the hearing. However, according to Fox, he did agree to the outcome. Some people, however, believe that it is too light of a sentencing and that Hughes is getting off too easy. That is not up to the public to decide though, and only the courts can determine that. Final thoughts. It's crazy to think about the fact that in April of 2020, the hip-hop community came close to losing one of their top artists. Eminem has always been a fan favorite despite how many people try to hate on him nowadays. And a lot of fans were happy to see that he came out of the incident unscathed, but some feel indifferent about the sentencing that Matthew Hughes received. What do you guys think though? Should he have gotten more than just probation? Let us know in the comment section and be sure to subscribe to stay in tune with all of our hip hop news and information. Be sure to hit that notification bell as well so that you don't miss out on our next upload. Until next time, stay safe out there.